Welcome back, students. Again, Dr. DA, and in this short video, I'm going to talk about our syllabus. By now, you should be able to access that page in our Canvas course shell, and hopefully you've also downloaded a copy of it to your computer device. So let's go there for now. Very quickly, again, once more, you go to our homepage here, and there's a syllabus tab here in the course navigation uh, bar here, and this is our syllabus. Consider this kind of like a contract, so to speak. It has all the information required for the course, and I apologize. It's pretty dense with information, but the university wants us to be as explicit and as comprehensive as possible. My syllabi used to be like 2 pages long, and now it's like 10 pages. I'm sorry about that, but hopefully it'll have all the information you need. Very quickly, some information here about myself and then about the course. Uh, Notice that we have some meetings. We begin February 3rd, and all the meetings are in person. As I mentioned in the previous video, make sure you check the scale of activities so you know what's happening at every session that we meet. There are some student learning objectives, which I will address later on. This is something that the university has for the benefit of students and also for the university to retain its accreditation in the landscape of community colleges, not only in California, but I guess in the US overall. Some of the things you need, please make sure you have a computer, either tablet, smartphone, an internet connection. Make sure your browser is current. Make sure you know how to navigate through Canvas. You're going to need to be able to view PowerPoint files. You do have free access to the Office 365 suite in here at LBCC, but some of you I know prefer other types of platforms. That's fine. Just be aware that in order to properly use the PowerPoint files that I'm going to give you, you're going to have to be able to open them in your device. In other words, not just watch the slideshow here in the browser. You're going to have to actually download the files and open them in your browser. We do have a textbook, which is the textbook by David Ball, and you can access the text at this site. Let me see if I can make this work for us here. I hope it loads. It's called Basics of General Organic and Biological Chemistry. And this is our textbook we're going to use. And you can either browse it or read it online, or you can download a PDF of it. So feel free to do that. Oh, I forgot to mention, it is free of cost. Yes, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. And we're not going to use it per se. In other words, I'm not going to give you assignments from it or assigned readings, but hopefully you'll see the benefit of using it kind of like as a backup for information that you may or may not catch during the course of our lecture, or you want to review things. So it is a great backup and very supplemental type of material. We do have a lab manual, and I am going to ask that you get it. Uh, I will not have or if I do, I'll have limited copies of the experiment handouts. So I need you to really get this lab manual at the bookstore. All of the input, all of the entries into our experimental data are going to be done on paper. And so you need to have the lab manual. If you have any issues, just let me know. You need a calculator that will be able to do scientific notation and some operations in like algebra and trigonometry, like logarithms and stuff like that. So if you're not familiar with any of that, I mean, you should have had that in your algebra courses. But please don't get a fancy calculator. Don't get a graphing calculator for $100. No, just get something relatively cheap. You can get it at the bookstore or at a drugstore nearby. You will need to come in with some safety glasses or goggles. Don't forget, these have to cover your whole face. So glasses like the ones I'm wearing are not enough protection on the side of the eyes. And please make sure that you bring those with you to every lab session. Uh, we are going to be going through the course over a 17-week timeline, as it says here. And your participation is important now. I'm not going to check attendance or give you a participation grade. It'll basically have to do with making sure you're in class, in your lab sessions, and that you turn in your assignments in a timely and complete manner. Okay. Uh, Please be mindful of assignment deadlines. I do have some like a little bit of a buffer space in there. I'll talk about it some more on our first day of classes, but you'll have to submit lab reports. We'll have quizzes every Wednesday beginning week 2, and we'll have worksheets beginning week 1. And all of these will be for credit. So this is how you'll get your assessments, your grades in the course. And there will be a comprehensive final exam. Like I mentioned before, this is the typical weekly scale we're going to follow. You're going to have lecture and lab on Mondays. And then on Wednesday, we'll have a practice session, a quiz, and then we will wrap up the lectures for that week. In terms of communication, please make sure that you look at the announcements here. Like I said, in this version that I'm showing here of the website, the announcements are not showing because I'm recording this before I actually enabled the website for you guys. But anyway, pay attention to announcements, especially my Friday morning, you know, announcement about the upcoming week's activities. And make sure you use the inbox uh, function here to communicate with me. Please read this section thoroughly here. Uh, I will have some regular student hours that will be available. But of course, if you see me in my office and my door is open, don't feel bad about, talking the door and asking me questions. Okay. I really am here for you. And there is no question that you cannot ask me. All right. It doesn't even have to be science. You can ask me about other things also. Okay. I like to talk to my students and engage in great conversation, all kinds of topics. All right. So here are the types of assignments we're going to have. I'm sorry, I don't like grades. I don't think they really reflect totally your level of understanding or intelligence or anything like that. But we had to have some tool for reporting your progress. So we have, like I said, quizzes, lab reports, worksheets, and a final exam. Please read this section here. Notice that each one of these assignments is worth 20 points and they are due at the end of the corresponding session. Please look through this little blurb that I have here about what happens if your assignment is submitted late, which is something I might allow for lab reports and for worksheets. Look, please read through this. I do have some accommodations that I give. Don't worry about it. If for some reason you were absent or you had to leave early, just talk to me, let me know, and we'll work something out. Just be aware that each one of these assessments do not have the same weight percentage. Here is a list that shows you what are the different percent contribution of each kind of assessment to the total grade. If you're not familiar to this, just ask me how it works. But basically, you take however many points you have in quizzes, you multiply. You're gonna waive the lowest score. You multiply times 25%, and then when you have done that for all of the other assessments, you add it up and you get a percent out of 100. There may be a couple of opportunities for extra credit points throughout the semester, and that'll be as it comes. And those points will be added at the end of the semester, not before, and not to any specific category. Okay. Uh, Grades are standard. Please make sure that you enable some way of communicating with me, particularly if you are using a email address that you share with somebody else. I would strongly recommend that you get your own email address because due to this regulation called FERPA, technically your records should be guarded at all times. I'll do my best, but if I'm communicating with you and your email inbox is shared, somebody else could look at what I'm telling you, and I'd rather avoid that. Okay. Um, there is a list of support services here for computing, for learning and academic resources, tutoring, library, emergency information, veteran services, special needs. There is a very strong policy against sexual harassment and discrimination. I want you to read through that. We have a lot of great tech support at the school, and you can always go to this student technology help desk here. I'm going to go to the left here for a moment and open there. You can see the student technology help desk. All right. And that has a lot of resources for you. We also have a tech desk over in the library building. This is on the LAC campus in Building L. So you can always go there. Uh, and we're not going to have supplemental instruction. However, on any given semester, the university might give us what's called an embedded tutor. And if we have that, I will introduce that person and talk about that program on the first day of classes. Okay. I'd be really happy to have this. This is a great resource. Tutoring at the school is free, and we have it available in Building L, the second floor. We also have it in D104. We call it the Destino Science Resource Center. And we also may have an embedded tutor. In other words, a tutor that is assigned exclusively to our class. Please be mindful of the rules. Uh, please be polite with each other. And one of the things I want to talk about here is language. I have very, very low tolerance for inappropriate language. I know our society is very lenient when it comes to profanity and vulgarity, but hey, in Dr. DA's house, that is not allowed. Okay, so please watch your language during our sessions and your interactions with each other. I don't have a good tolerance for that kind of stuff. Okay, I'm being very honest with you. Please look at the lab regulations here, particularly when it comes to safety rules, wearing the safety glasses, and then some other items here, which I'll discuss in our first lab session. And also, again, academic integrity, of course, you know the deal. Please do not even think about ways of cheating. It is something I despise. I think it's very low, and I respect your intelligence, your integrity, and I'm going to choose to trust you guys. And so I'm not going to go around acting like a law enforcement agent at all times. No, we'll work together. Okay. And I trust in your good intentions, your noble ambition to succeed and to carve out for yourself a great academic and professional future. Please take a look at these tips to succeed here later on. The main thing I'm going to say is, don't treat this class the way you may have done with your high school science classes. Wait for the day before the exam and study. It doesn't work. Chemistry in the college level is totally cumulative. And so everything we're going to be talking about the first week of classes is still going to be relevant, pertinent, important on the last week of classes. So if you don't create a habit of studying like on a daily basis, those things are not going to get imprinted in your memory. And it's going to be very, very hard to keep up with things. Okay. So that's pretty much what I say. Let me close out by mentioning in these dates here. Notice that you have until this date here. I'm sorry, until this date to drop without a W on your record. And I think you get your enrollment fees refunded. But after that date, I have to give at least a W until this date here. And after that date, if you have not withdrawn, you will have to be assessed a grade uh, letter grade, I guess, a letter grade, sorry. Once more, if you're struggling, if you're having a hard time keeping up with stuff, whatever it is, don't second guess yourself or don't second guess me. Talk to me about it. I'm always sure we can work something out. Okay. All right. I hope that is a good take on the syllabus here. And again, in our next video, I think I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the, again, resources and assignments, and then we'll hopefully have enough information for you to navigate through the course. Okay. Hey, looking forward to seeing you in person, and thank you so much for paying attention to me. All right. Bye.